Welcome to The Drop one more time, where we're dropping truth and bringing life.
Yes, we are.
It's good to be with you again.
Yeah.
You guys did great. You and Sergio did really good talking about communication.
It was really fun.
And marriage and everything.
It was so fun. The marriage and relationship bit for February was fun. I enjoyed listening to you and Mom. I mean, of course, I hear you guys all the time share those things, but I think it's always fun to like see couples interact when they're sharing and talking, and because it just shows, I think, the realness of how those principles are fleshed out. You know? So it was definitely fun.
Especially you guys were talking about communication.
Oh yeah, that was fun. It was very fun.
That's good. That's good.
But we're happy to be back here.
We're gonna start a new thing.
Yeah, I'm excited about this one.
As we were talking before we started recording, we're gonna talk about upside down, and really the heart of this is to see how Jesus intentionally turned upside down some of the traditions of the religions of his time. Yeah. And why did he do that? And I think it'll help us to have a fresh perspective of how to live more like Jesus. And I think that obviously that's our goal with this. So it's not that we want to be radical or anything. It's just that we want to be...
Are you sure about that? No, I feel like you do.
We'll try. We'll try a little bit. But you were telling me a story that's really, really awesome. Yeah. That really goes with this theme of turning expectations upside down.
It was a story that one of my professors told me when I was in CFNI.
Okay.
And he was, I forget his name, but he was awesome. But he was a college and career pastor at the church that he worked at. Okay. So he was actually sharing us this principle about letting people belong before they believe.
That's good.
And it was one of the main things that stood out to me so much from that my whole time there at CFNI. Yeah. But he talked about this at one of their college and career meetings one night. This transvestite came and came with some friends, and came to the service. And it was a guy dressed up like a girl. Right. And just came and he said that everybody in their ministry just like loved them and accepted them, and didn't pass any judgment, didn't treat them differently, wasn't like, well, you shouldn't be here,
That's
why
awesome.
are you here?
Right.
And then he kept coming. He came like, I forget how many more times, but he kept coming, and everybody just loved on that person, just loved them and accepted them. And then... Right.
And he came dressed up at the beginning.
Yeah, because it was a man dressed as a woman. Okay, and so every time he came dressed as he was,
Sure.
And so then one night they noticed, like another visitor, and it was a new guy. And so they were like, kind of same thing. Just, hey, what's up? Loving on this guy and this and that. And, oh, is this your first time here? And he was like, no, I'm so-and-so. And I forget the name, so he came one night as himself.
As himself,
and
oh my God.
The more they dug into his story, it was just the love and acceptance that he received there. I'm getting like chill bumps because it's such a beautiful example of the power of love and acceptance that we can give because of God.
That's
and nobody sat and had a meeting with him. Nobody preached at him about his lifestyle. Nobody hounded him about it. They just took him in and was like, hey, you can belong here. Yes. Just as you are.
I love that.
That transformation happened on his time.
I love that.
Because obviously he made a connection with God too, So it's very cool.
I think when people loved him, God loved him.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'm sure he felt that.
And I think he just felt that, and I think that is so cool.
And it transformed something in him.
Yeah.
Yeah, more than words can... or a preaching or a message or a meaning or anything like that would do. Because what I think is really cool about it is it was obviously a decision that he made. Sure. Because of something he experienced.
Yeah, nobody told him, hey, dude, you shouldn't be coming here dressed like that.
This is not right. If you want to be in church, that would have sent him away probably forever.
Absolutely. Yeah. It would have completely crushed his heart. Yeah. And so those... people, the group of people, that community of Christians turned some traditions upside down, man.
Yeah, they did. They really
Because,
did.
I remember when I went to church the first time, I had long hair.
Yeah.
And the first thing they told me was, you got to cut your hair.
Oh my gosh.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's now imagine this guy.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but the story that you're telling really exemplifies the heart of God.
Yeah.
And it really exemplifies the heart of Jesus.
That's
Because
right.
Jesus
That's
hung
right.
around with all kinds of people.
Yeah.
And the issue was never, well, I'm going to hang around with you so I can get you straightened out.
Yeah. Or I'm going to hang around with you because you're right. And,
Yeah.
and I'm only going to hang around with the people who are right and doing
Exactly.
things well and
Yeah.
living the way they should.
It's
And those
totally
are my
awesome.
people. Yeah. So
Totally awesome.
that story has always
Yeah.
just like resonated so deeply with me.
That's an amazing story.
Yeah.
And so we're going to talk today a little bit about Jesus' welcoming.
Mm-hmm.
And it comes out of the story of Matthew 8,
Yes.
verse 1 and 3, where it says, and he had come down from the mountain, talking about Jesus, and great multitude follow him.
Of course.
And behold, a leper came and worshipped him, saying, Lord, if you are willing, you can make me clean. And then Jesus put out his hand and touched him, saying, I am willing, be clean. Immediately his
So
leprosy was cleansed. So imagine that.
There's
because
so much here.
The leper in those days were like,
they were like
outcasts.
Shunned. Nobody wanted to be around them. People would see them and go the other way.
Rejects.
And didn't they have like what are they called, compounds? Or
they had outside the city. They had like little
where they had to stay.
Where they had to stay
all
there
together and
So imagine the first thing that happens is this guy comes into the city where he's not supposed to be.
Yeah.
And the next thing that happens is Jesus comes down from the mountain, which is a symbolic, gesture of like, man, I'm at the top of my game.
Yeah.
I'm in the best place I can be.
I'm up here high on the mountain.
Yeah, so it's kind of like,
you're in a low place that nobody wants to go.
So this contrast of things,
very cool.
And so Jesus is saying, basically, I'm as connected with God as I've ever been, because I come from the mountain, come down from the mountain, and yet this forbidden person approaches him, and Jesus is saying, I'm at the top of my game, and now you're approaching me. And so it's saying, what does God do?
Yeah.
What is the top of the game of God?
Yeah.
Is welcoming even those that don't even need to be there.
Right. Yeah. That's
so
good.
it's I mean, there's a lot of stuff in here, but I think that one of the traditions of those days was that if you got in front of a leper, you got contaminated.
Right.
So now here's Jesus in front of this leper, and he's saying,
that doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter to me.
Yeah.
And not only that, but it's like, I'm going to be above that.
Yeah.
Because my love for this guy is going to supersede all this.
That's amazing.
And it really was nonsense, really.
Right. Yeah.
Because you couldn't get contaminated just by being in front of someone.
Yeah.
But it's an incredible, incredible story.
It is. It is. And I love to see the heart of Jesus here, and like I said earlier, it's like, he goes where most people would see that leper and turn and walk the other way.
Run.
He sees the leper and he says, I want to go to that person. Not I don't want to do what the rest of society is doing to that person.
Yeah.
Because I know that I see what they need. I see their pain. I see where they need healing.
Right.
And I'm willing to go to them and not run away from them.
Yeah.
And I think that shows his heart to go to the unlovable.
Yeah.
What society might see as, the shunned or those who don't deserve
the outcast,
whatever.
Marginalized.
And I think that, like you were saying, the contrast here is so cool.
It's amazing.
When you really dig and you really think deeper beyond just the mountain and the leper.
Yeah.
You think like, wow, like he actually approached the man instead of running from the man.
And one of the other things I noticed in the story is that this guy bows down before Jesus.
That's right.
And obviously he says, hey, if you're willing, heal me, which is kind of cool because when you think about people that are not right, say people that are just, messed up, confused or whatever, and they're really down in the pit, the last thing they want to do is go to a church sometimes because people are going to look at them.
They're afraid of how they're going to be received.
How am I going to be received?
Or they they think, okay, if I do go, I'm going to have to hide this part.
Yeah.
I can't reveal this.
Yeah.
And then that spirals into a whole different mess.
What are they going to think of me?
Right. Yeah.
But here's this guy at the worst of the worst, reject, outcast, marginalized.
Yeah. But nobody wants him.
But he goes and he bows down before Jesus because he sees a welcoming heart in Jesus.
Right. Yeah.
And I think that as the community of God becomes more welcoming to people, they're going to see that heart and they're going to want to come.
Oh, definitely.
They're going to want to see this pure heart that truly wants to embrace them and welcome them. Yeah. And I think that's powerful.
That is. It's so cool. And as you were talking, it also made me really think about the leper himself. Like you said earlier, like he came out from where he was told to be.
Yeah.
And he himself was willing to push beyond the labels or the restrictions or the words that have been put on him. Yeah. And he said, I'm going to ignore those because I don't want to stay here.
Yeah, that's right.
And then I was thinking about all the other lepers that chose to stay there. Yeah. And they did not receive their healing. They didn't get the change that this man got because he was willing to, even though he knew he was in a very low, dark place, being a leper, he said, I'm going to put myself in a position to change. And so that took boldness from him. Yes. Even understanding all of the societal things that he was going to have to go through. Exactly. He chose to do that, to put himself before Jesus.
And, I've heard people say, and in fact, I said that when I first went to a church. The pastor talked to me, and he said, you need to come back next Sunday or whatever. And I said, I'm not ready. I'm messed up and I'm doing too many things. When I get it together, then I'm gonna come. And I think there's a lot of people like that feel that they're not worthy or feel that I'm not right to be in church. Or I'm not right to come to God. And in reality, that's when we need to come to God. Yeah. And we need to see that environment that is welcoming. And I think the other thing that strikes me about this story is that Jesus became in conflict with the establishment at that point. Because when the leper approached him, he's thinking, what does my tradition say? My tradition say is to run away from this guy. But now what's the heart of God in me say? Right. And so he became in conflict with the establishment, and
that's so good.
He decided, it doesn't matter what the tradition is. Right. What matters is that I'm gonna welcome this man. I'm gonna love this man, and I'm gonna be able to show him the heart of God. Yeah, so Jesus took that conflict and just turn it all upside down. Yeah, yeah. And that man encountered God and encountered healing in his heart, and I'm sure his life changed forever.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh, totally. And as we were, as I was kind of praying and preparing for this, I came across this quote, and it was so cool because I felt like it fit really well here. Talking about us being willing also to go to God, and not being afraid of approaching him if we're in need or things like that, because he does love us. Yeah. So it said I've heard it said that some people can't see God because they won't look low enough, and it's true. Look lower. God is on the bathroom floor. And so what this was saying came from a girl who was struggling with breast cancer. Okay. And so she spent a lot of time on the bathroom floor for throwing up and things like that. So but what she was saying is that people are, I think sometimes are looking for God in these high places, you know, but he's in the low places too.
Yeah.
You know, just like this leper.
Right.
And he something in him was like, I gotta get to him.
Right.
You know, even in this low place. And then
Jesus,
he came from that mountain.
That's right.
But he came down to that place to meet him.
To meet the
exactly
guy
where he was at.
Where he was. And he was at a low point.
Yeah.
He was at a low point. I think one of the other things that strikes me is that Jesus is turning the whole system upside down, because he's saying love is better than a law.
Yeah.
Love is better than a law.
Yeah.
And
that's so good.
I know a lot of people are watching him and going like, what's happening
What's he
here?
doing?
What's he doing?
He's not supposed to be going
He's
over
not
there.
supposed to be doing this.
He's going to get it. He's going to get it.
Yeah,
Jesus is going to get leprosy.
He's going to get sick.
And what are we going to do?
and so, you know, it is those moments where you have an opportunity to do what the heart of God dictates versus what some man's rule may be dictating to you.
Oh, yeah. And I think you hit it right on the nail. And I'm sure we're going to circle back to this a lot, because it's who God is, but it's about the love that he has, you know, and
that's right.
You know, the Bible does say that God is love.
That's right.
And it's like everything he does, because he is love, he exudes love.
Yeah.
He doesn't just love as an action, he is love as a verb.
Exactly.
That everything that comes out of him is driven by love and compassion.
Yeah.
And I think that deep, pure love is what flips everything upside down for us.
Absolutely. And that's the love that says, you know, some rules are okay for a season, but some rules are outlive themselves, you know, especially religious traditions, you know, that they outlive themselves. They come to a point where there's a higher way, and the higher way is always love, you know, and Jesus is saying there's a better way. Yeah. And the way of God now is love. Love is more important than a rule. And I'm not saying rules are not necessary.
Right, of course.
But what I'm saying,
are needed.
What I'm saying is that there are some rules that have outlived themselves.
Right.
And they're just not needed anymore.
And it's really because of the love which is Jesus that came to fulfill all of those legalistic rules maybe that were created in the times of when the Bible was written, and those traditions and all of that. But that's a whole other podcast.
It's a better way that comes in.
Right.
And Jesus is saying there's a better way. And I'm showing you that this way is love. Right. And I think he not only just says it in words, but he says it with his action. Yeah. And even being willing to turn a tradition upside down. Yeah. To be able to get to the heart of this man and transforms this man. But anyhow, I think we're going to have to come back to the other 2 points. Okay. You know, because this story is so rich. This story has so much depth in it that I think we want you to know that God will never reject you.
Yeah, that's right.
If you come to him, it doesn't matter how low you may be. Right. It doesn't matter how broken you are. Yeah. You know, he will always welcome you. Yeah. And if you come to 100%. Him with open arms and a sincere heart, man, he's going to take you in. Yeah. And he's going to touch you and love you because that's how he is. Yeah.
And it also, I think it was reminding me too, like this whole principle of like when you go to a new place and you don't know anybody. Yeah. You know, and for me, this is a big deal. For the pure, strong extroverts, they don't care. They're like, take me wherever. I'm fine.
Like your mom.
Like mom.
Like your mom.
She will literally make friends
Boom.
Anywhere.
Yeah.
But for me, and probably for you
for
too,
me.
like if I have to go like to a birthday party
it's
and
scary,
I don't know
man.
the people there, I'm talking to my friend and I'm like, okay, well, who's gonna be there? And this and that. Okay, well, how's everybody gonna dress? Where are we gonna go? What time are you actually gonna be there? Yeah. You know, can you please save me a seat right next to you because I don't know anybody else.
Can we hang out?
I mean, you know, I'm that friend that's like, okay, you know, you're gonna be fine. Right. But my point is that when you go to a new place and you experience being welcomed,
and love,
it does for you is I think no matter what your personality is, you just feel at home.
Total peace.
You feel like you belong. You feel
Oh,
loved.
yeah.
You feel accepted. You feel happy.
You feel great.
You feel great.
Yeah,
and then you feel like,
awesome.
I want to be here.
I want to come back.
And that's exactly what Jesus wants.
Yeah.
Number one, us to experience.
That's right.
But I think also us to allow
to give that to others
to experience.
Yeah, because that's the heart of God.
Because that is the heart of God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for being here today.
Yes.
We're going to continue and finish this in the next episode because Jesus is welcoming and he's willing to turn anything upside down to connect with your heart.
True.
So thank you for being here at The Drop, where we're dropping truth and bringing life.
Like and subscribe if you haven't already.
Come on, press that button.
Pass it on to a friend. And we are on Apple Podcasts. Also, the link is below in case you haven't followed us there. You can follow us there too. But God bless. We'll see you guys next week.
All right.